Your vision is not dying because the attacks are too strong. It is dying because of one mistake you keep making the moment the attacks arrive. And that mistake is so natural, so instinctive, so logical that you will swear it is the right move, even as it destroys everything you have been building. This video is going to show you what that mistake is and how to never make it again. By the end of this, you will see the pattern behind every attack you have ever faced while trying to create anything that matters. You will understand why the pressure increases the closer you get to finishing, and you will know exactly what to do when it hits instead of doing what everyone else does, which is the one thing that kills the vision. None of this requires you to become someone you are not. It requires you to see what has been invisible to you until right now. Machiavelli saw this pattern 500 years ago. He watched princes rise and collapse, not because their enemies outmatched them, but because of what they did the moment the enemies appeared. The ones who survived were not the strongest or the most ruthless. They were the ones who understood a specific relationship between building and warfare that everyone else missed entirely. The same pattern runs through everything today: your career, your business, your relationships, every single thing you have ever tried to build that actually mattered. They teach you how to build, they teach you how to fight, but they never teach you what to do when both are happening at once and neither one can wait. That is what the next 30 minutes are for, and what you learn here is permanent. Once you see how this works, your brain will not let you handle pressure the same way again. There is a shift that happens to the person who refuses to stop building no matter what comes at them. A permanent shift that changes the entire game. Almost nobody ever experiences it because almost nobody gets far enough to reach it. I will get to that, but you have to understand everything that comes before it first. Everything in this video builds toward that one moment. The attacks always show up at the exact moment you start making progress. Not before, not randomly, but right when things begin to work. There is a pattern here that nobody points out. Once you see it, the attacks stop feeling personal. And when they stop feeling personal, they stop having power over you. Think about your own life for a second. Think about the last time you started building and felt real momentum. Maybe you started working out and your body was actually changing. Maybe you began saving money and your habits were finally shifting. Maybe you launched a project and the first real signs of traction appeared. Now think about what happened right after that. Someone made a comment, someone pulled away, the ground shifted at the worst possible time. You thought it was bad luck. You thought the universe was testing you. You thought maybe you were not cut out for this after all. You thought the timing was just unfortunate, that it had nothing to do with your progress. None of that was true. What happened next was not random and it was not punishment. The attack began the moment you started building because your progress is a mirror, and mirrors make comfortable people see everything they have been avoiding. That is all it is. Your growth does not just change your life, it disrupts the lives of everyone around you who chose to stay the same. When you were stuck like them, you were safe to be around. You confirmed their choices by going nowhere. You made them feel okay about standing still. But the moment you started moving, you became a walking accusation. You did not say a word, and they still felt judged. Your existence became uncomfortable because it reminded them of everything they were not doing. That is why the resistance arrived exactly when the progress did. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He wrote that there is nothing more dangerous than introducing a new order of things, because the innovator inherits enemies from everyone who was comfortable under the old way. You do not have to offend anyone. You do not have to compete with anyone or take anything from them. You just have to change, and the people who refuse to change will treat your growth like a personal attack on their identity. The resistance you are feeling right now is not a sign that your vision is wrong. It is a receipt. It is proof that what you are building has enough weight to make people uncomfortable. Things without weight do not bother anyone, and things without power do not attract enemies. If you have ever been in the middle of building and felt the world turn against you for no reason, type this in the comments. The resistance is proof. Now you understand why the attacks come, but understanding why does not save you. Because there is a trap waiting for you the moment the first real blow lands, and it is the same trap that has buried more dreams, more businesses, more futures than any enemy ever could. Almost everyone falls into it, even sharp people, even disciplined people, even people with real talent and fire in their chest. And they do not realize they fell in until the vision is already cold. Picture the moment the attack arrives. A betrayal, a financial hit, a person you counted on vanishes. Your focus changes direction. Your energy, which was flowing forward into the thing you were building, suddenly turns sideways toward the threat. You are no longer thinking about the next step. You are replaying conversations, planning responses, building a case instead of building a future. The urge to stop and fight feels necessary, feels urgent, feels like you have no choice but to deal with this first before you can go back to creating. And that feeling is exactly what makes it so dangerous. Because the feeling is lying to you. It is disguising destruction as responsibility. The trap is the pause. The moment you stop building to start defending, your vision begins to starve. Momentum is not alive the way you think it is. You cannot freeze it and come back to it later. It needs to be fed every single day. And the moment you stop feeding it, it does not wait for you. It starts dying while you are busy fighting a war that was designed to distract you in the first place. By the time you finish fighting, by the time you settle the score or process the betrayal or recover from the blow, you try to go back to building and the energy is different. The clarity is gone. The fire inside you is dimmer than it was before. You are starting over, but now you are doing it tired and bitter instead of hungry and sharp. Your enemies did not kill your vision. The gap you left while fighting them did. So if stopping is death and the attacks are guaranteed, then how do you keep building without leaving yourself wide open to destruction? How do you keep creating while the ground is shaking beneath you? There is a method that answers this. Machiavelli used it, and every empire that survived its first year of existence used it. It starts with a question that almost no builder thinks to ask. A question that separates the things people build that last from the things that collapse after the first storm. Look at how people build when they are excited. They start with whatever looks best, the flashy part, the visible part, the piece they can show the world and feel proud of. They build the logo before they build the product. They build the lifestyle before they build the income. They announce the empire before they lay the first brick. Then one storm comes and the whole thing folds because nothing underneath it was holding anything together. Which part of what I am building will protect everything else once it is finished? That is what you build first. Not the exciting part, not the part that gets attention or praise, but the part that becomes its own shield once it exists. Machiavelli studied how new states survived their most dangerous years, and the answer was always the same. The ones that lasted built walls before palaces, not because walls are glamorous, but because walls buy you time to build everything else without getting destroyed. In your life, this means building the skill that makes you hard to replace before you build the brand that makes you visible. It means building the savings that protect your runway before you build the product that drains it. It means building the daily system that keeps your mind sharp before you build the empire that will test it. Think of it as layers, because each layer you finish makes the next one easier to protect. The first layer is the hardest because nothing shields it yet, and that is exactly where people quit. By the fifth or sixth layer, you have built a structure with its own weight, and things with weight are very hard to push over. Now, you know what to build first, but there is a lie about building under pressure that almost everyone believes, and it is costing them years. They think the attacks are slowing them down. They think every hit sets them back. They think the person building in peace is moving faster than the person building through fire, and the opposite is true. What I am about to tell you will flip everything you thought you knew about progress. Think about two people building the exact same thing. One of them is building in silence, no resistance, no criticism, no pressure. The other is building while the world is trying to tear it down. The assumption is that the first person is ahead, that the comfortable builder has the advantage. But watch what actually happens over time, and you can see this play out in every field, every industry, every corner of life. Every brick you lay while under fire counts more than a brick laid in comfort. Not the same, more. Because a brick laid in peace is just a brick. But a brick laid while people are watching you get hit and keep going, that brick does two things at once. It builds the structure and it builds your proof. Your proof that you are serious. Your proof that you do not fold. Your proof that what you are building is not a hobby, it is a mission, and proof compounds. The first brick under fire looks pointless. No one notices, no one cares. It changes, nothing visible. The 10th brick under fire starts to feel different, like maybe the rhythm is coming back. The 50th brick under fire is when the shift happens, because now you have a pattern, and patterns are the only thing people actually trust. They do not trust words, they do not trust promises, they trust patterns, and the pattern of someone who keeps building no matter what lands on them is the single hardest reputation to fake and the single hardest reputation to break. Every single day that you keep building while the fire is burning, the gap between you and every person who stopped gets wider. Not by a little, by a lot. They are starting over from zero every time they pause and restart, while your bricks are stacking on top of each other without interruption. That is the compound effect under fire. It does not just add up, it multiplies. And the people who understand this stop seeing the attacks as setbacks. They start seeing them as accelerators, because every brick laid during the storm is worth 5 bricks laid in the sun. But this is where people sabotage the entire process without even realizing they are doing it. Even the ones who understand everything I just said, even the ones who know they should keep building, even the ones who feel the momentum starting to stack. There is one thing they do quietly in the back of their mind that bleeds their commitment dry and ensures they never reach the tipping point. And almost everyone does it. When the attacks get heavy, your brain starts building exits, not physical exits, mental ones. Plan B, the fallback, the safety net. The little voice that says, if this does not work, I can always go back to what I was doing before. It sounds like wisdom. It sounds like being smart and responsible. It sounds like you are just keeping your options open in case things go wrong. But that voice is not protecting you. It is killing your vision in slow motion. The moment you have a plan B, your commitment to plan A starts leaking. Not all at once, not obviously. But every time the pressure increases, every time an attack lands harder than the last one, your brain glances at the exit. Just for a second, just to make sure it is still there. And in that second, your energy splits. Part of you is building forward, and part of you is calculating backward. You are trying to move in 2 directions at once, and the result is that you move in neither. In 1519, Hernán Cortés landed on the coast of Mexico with 600 men. They were outnumbered, outgunned, thousands of miles from home with no reinforcements coming. Every logical person in that situation starts planning the retreat. Cortés did the opposite. He burned the ships, every single one. There was no plan B because there were no boats to carry it. The only direction left was forward. And his men, who were terrified and uncertain and questioning everything, suddenly fought with a fury that nothing could match. Not because they were braver than anyone else, because retreat was no longer an option, and when retreat is not an option, every ounce of energy goes into the fight. Machiavelli understood this. He wrote that mercenaries fight poorly because they have no personal stake, because they can always walk away. But citizen soldiers fight to the death because their families, their homes, their entire lives are behind them. There is nothing to retreat to. And that absence of an exit is what turns ordinary people into forces that cannot be stopped. Look at your own life right now. How many exits have you been quietly maintaining? How many plan Bs are running in the background, draining 5% of your commitment here, 10% there? How many times have you told yourself you are keeping your options open when really you are keeping one foot out the door? Every exit you maintain is a leak in the engine, and enough leaks will drain the tank before you ever reach where you are going. Burn the boats, not recklessly, not stupidly, but decisively. Close the doors that lead backward. Delete the options that give you permission to quit. Make the cost of stopping so high that building becomes the only rational move. Because when the only direction is forward, you stop flinching at the attacks. They cannot scare you into retreating when there is nowhere to retreat to. And that is when your building speed changes completely, because 100% of you is finally pointed at the same target. Now, everything I have given you so far is about how to build smarter. Strategy, tactics, architecture, method, but there is one principle that sits above all of them. Get this wrong, and nothing I just said will save you. Get this right, and the attacks begin dying on their own, without you lifting a single finger, without you responding to a single word. When you spend 2 hours thinking about what somebody said about you, you just gave that person 2 hours of oxygen. When you spend your morning crafting a response to someone who disrespected your work, you just took food out of your vision's mouth and fed it to the war instead. Every single unit of energy you have goes in one of two directions, building or fighting. And the ratio is usually backwards, 70% into fighting and 30% into building, then wondering why the vision refuses to grow. Attention is fuel, and whatever you feed grows. Flip the ratio. Give the work 90%. Give the war 10%, just enough to stay aware of what is coming, not enough to get consumed by it. Acknowledge the attack, note where it came from, then put your head down and lay the next brick. That is it. Do this long enough and the attackers exhaust themselves because they need your reaction to keep going. Your outrage is their oxygen and your pain is their entertainment. When your only response to every strike is another brick in your wall, they run out of fuel. They came looking for a war and you gave them nothing to fight against. The war dies of starvation while your vision gets stronger every single day. And then a shift happens that nobody prepares you for. A shift that only reveals itself to people who make it past the stage where everyone else quits. It does not arrive with fireworks or a dramatic announcement. It arrives quietly, almost invisibly, the way sunrise appears before anyone notices the sky changing color. Think about the loneliest part of your building process, the part no one sees. The late nights, the early mornings, the silence where encouragement should be. You have been laying bricks through the storm and no one is cheering, no one is helping, no one is standing next to you saying, "Keep going, you are almost there." It feels like the entire world is either attacking you or ignoring you. You start wondering if this is what the rest of your life will look like. You start questioning whether you made the right choice. That loneliness is not a sign of failure. It is not a punishment, and it is not evidence that you chose the wrong path. It is the entrance fee to the next level. The right people do not show up at the beginning. They show up in the middle. After the fire has proven you will not stop. The allies you actually need have been burned before by people who quit at the first sign of pressure. They invested time and energy into someone who folded when things got hard, and they swore they would not make that mistake again. So they watch from a distance, and they are looking for one specific thing, not talent, not potential, not a polished pitch. but the person who keeps building when every reasonable person would have stopped. The fire is not just a test, it is an audition. The people watching you survive it are the cast of your next chapter. They will not step forward for someone who walked off stage during the first act. They need to see you take the hit and lay another brick. They need to see that you are not performing commitment, you are living it. When they finally see it, they step forward, not because you asked, but because you proved what words never could. The loneliest phase of your vision is also the most watched. You just cannot see the audience yet, but they are there, and they are waiting for proof that you are the real thing. That proof is not what you say. That proof is the fact that you are still building. And this is where we arrive at the thing I mentioned at the very beginning of this video. The shift that happens to the person who refuses to stop building no matter what comes at them. The shift that almost nobody experiences because almost nobody builds long enough to reach it. You have been here this entire time. You have not left. So now I can finally show you what is waiting on the other side. It does not happen overnight, and there is no single morning where you wake up and everything has changed. It is more like a quiet turn that you barely notice at first. The attacks feel smaller, the noise feels quieter, and the weight on your shoulders feels lighter. Not because the world softened or your enemies suddenly decided to forgive you. The structure underneath you changed permanently in a way that cannot be undone. There is a tipping point where what you have built becomes large enough, strong enough, and real enough that it starts defending itself. You no longer have to fight because what you created fights for you. Your reputation arrives before you enter the room. Your results silence arguments before they start. Your work answers questions that have not even been asked yet. That is what was waiting on the other side this entire time. The thing you were building quietly, brick by brick, through the fire, through the doubt, through the betrayal, through the loneliness, that thing now has its own gravity. It pulls opportunities toward it without you chasing them. It attracts the right people without you begging. It repels threats naturally, not because you are fighting harder than before, but because what you built is now too solid for anyone to break. Machiavelli called this the shift from fortune to necessity. At the beginning, your vision is fragile. It depends on luck and on timing and on people being kind enough to let you grow. But after you build layer upon layer through the storm, it reaches a point where luck no longer matters. The vision sustains itself. It has its own foundation, its own walls, its own momentum. The attacks do not stop because your enemies decided to be generous. They stop because they cannot win anymore, and somewhere deep inside, they know it. You were never supposed to build in peace. That was the lie. The idea that you could create anything meaningful in comfortable silence with everyone cheering you on and nothing standing in your way. That world does not exist. It never existed. Not for you. Not for anyone who ever built anything worth remembering. The fire was never an interruption to your vision. It was the cost of entry. Every builder who came before you faced the same fire. The ones we remember are the ones who kept laying bricks while the smoke was thick and the ground was shaking. The ones we forgot are the ones who stopped to argue with the flames. They turned around to fight what was never going to fight fair, and while they were swinging at smoke, their vision went cold behind them. So now you have everything. Let me put it together for you. The attacks begin the moment you start building because your progress is a mirror. The trap that kills your vision is the pause. The moment you stop creating and start defending. You build what protects itself first. Walls before palaces, structure before style. Every brick you lay under fire compounds harder than a brick laid in comfort, because the pattern of not stopping is the single hardest reputation to fake. You burn the boats, so there is no exit bleeding your commitment, because when the only direction is forward, every ounce of energy goes into the work. You starve the war by feeding the work, because attention is fuel and whatever you feed grows. The right people only show up after the fire proves you will not stop. And there is a tipping point where what you have built becomes strong enough to defend itself without you lifting a finger. These 8 ideas changed you over the last 30 minutes. You see building differently now. You see attacks differently. You see the relationship between creation and destruction differently. And you cannot go back to not knowing this. You cannot go back to putting down your tools every time the fire starts. You cannot go back to treating the pause like a reasonable decision. Because now you know what the pause actually costs. And I need you to understand what comes with this. This knowledge is going to make you feel different from the people around you. Because the people around you stop building the moment things get hard. They treat every attack like a reason to quit. They spend their entire lives starting things, getting hit, stopping, recovering, starting again, getting hit, stopping again. They never make it past the 3rd or 4th layer. They never reach the tipping point. They never experience what it feels like when the thing they built starts fighting for them. And if you try to explain this to them, they will not understand. They will tell you to slow down. They will tell you to be realistic. They will tell you that you are being reckless by refusing to stop and deal with the fire. Because they have never built through a fire. They have only ever run from one. But you are not them, not anymore. So here is my challenge to you. Look at your life right now with everything you just learned. Where are you pausing when you should be building? How many bricks have you already laid under fire that you are not giving yourself credit for? How many exits are you quietly maintaining that are bleeding your commitment dry? What part of your vision are you building first, the crown or the castle? How much of your energy is going to the war and how much is going to the work? And have you reached the tipping point yet? Or are you 3 bricks away from it and thinking about quitting? Answer those questions honestly, because the answers will show you exactly why your vision is where it is right now and exactly what needs to change for it to become a thing that defends itself. And if this landed, if you see building and surviving differently than you did 30 minutes ago, write this in the comments. I build through the fire. Let me see how many of you are done putting down the tools every time the arrows start flying. Let me see how many of you are ready to keep laying bricks no matter what comes. Because the world does not need more people who start things. It needs more people who finish them, more people who build through the smoke and the noise and the doubt and the betrayal and refuse to stop until what they have created is too strong for anyone to break. That is what it means to build your vision while under attack. And if you made it this far, you already know you are one of those people. And do not forget to keep watching the next video. It is important, much more than you imagine. See you there.